Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Oakley Sutro Lite Sweep Vented sunglasses. The Oakley Sutro sunglasses have been one of Oakley's most popular shield style designs and have been a big hit among cyclists. As Oakley often does, they introduce quite a few variations with each lineup, and what we have here today is the Sutro Lite Sweep Vented sunglasses. These add retro-inspired swept lenses to the existing Sutro Lite semi-frameless sunglasses. They're available both in the vented version that we have here, which has little circular cutouts in the lens, or a non-vented version. I'll go ahead and take it out of the box and we'll go over specs. The box itself is pretty standard, Oakley on top, and then the specs printed on the door. Let's go ahead and pull this out. So retail price on this is $189. It's just a little bit more expensive than the Sutro Lite. It has the retro styling, which kind of harkens back to Oakley's original silhouettes. It has integrated ear socks, so it's better suited for performance sports like cycling or other active wear where you need to move around a lot and don't want your sunglasses to fall off. They have the unobtainium nose pads, which keep it centered on your nose for a nice comfortable fit. You have Prizm Lens technology. They're currently offered in 3 options, from road, trail to the ruby that we have here. They have the O-Matter frame, which is their patented nylon composition for the frame. So highly flexible and something that should last quite a long time. You can see in terms of what comes with it, obviously you get the sunglasses and the cool retro design. You get a fabric bag. You get a second nose pad. It's a little bit more narrow than the one that's pre-installed. And that's about it. You also have a little pamphlet inside the box that tells you about the lens. Now let's take a look at the weight of the sunglasses. So with the standard nose pad on there, comes in at 30 grams, so quite competitive. Now let's go over the fit and finish of the Oakley Sutro Lite Sweep Vented sunglasses. It's quite a mouthful, but what these sunglasses basically are is they take the Sutro Lite, which is a semi-frameless design. You can see you only have a top brow and a nose pad. And it changes the lens from the more squared off version that the Sutro is known for and has this swept back version. It's more reminiscent of their Oakley's original 90s design, so more retro inspired. And to go further retro, they've added the vents with this vented variation. You can swap this out with any of the Sutro Lite options though, so if you don't want the vent, you can get the non-vented. And if you already have the Sutro Lite, you can get one of the swept backed lenses and swap it in. So they're all interchangeable and looks pretty cool. Gives you those retro vibes. The color scheme here is also very in your face. This is the Prizm Ruby with the tennis ball yellow. They also have a road Prizm lens with a pink frame, as well as the trail torch lens with the orange frame. And again, these are all very retro colors. They have more color schemes for the Sutro Lite and the non-vented variations that are less in your face, but with this one, they've really gone full scale retro. You can see very bright, has good curvature, so it kind of curves around your head, flexible temples, and this is their magic O-frame nylon construction, so very soft, highly durable, so you can drop this and not worry about it, and should last quite a while. Some of the new features here are the integrated ear sock, so that's just this little rubber material here along the temple, and you can see it's nice and flush, prevents it from moving around, doesn't add any bulk, and looks really sleek, so it blends in. You also have nice geometric patterns here that look really cool. So these little triangular elements and these sharp creases. So nice little design details that make it really stand out. Oakley branding on the side, a big Oakley on the front, and otherwise just really bright colors. It reminds me a lot of some of the Matador sunglasses like from ROKA with this swap back design. It looks really cool. It's always nice to have a retro inspired pair of sunglasses. They are semi-frameless, so you can see nothing underneath you. You just have the top brow and this interesting metal connector between the nose pad. This is what they call their unobtainium nose pad, which is kind of a strange name, but it's just a rubber pad. Very soft, and you get a second one, and they basically have a hook, so you can pull this up and over, and you can see it just hooks in. So easy to swap out and find the one that works for you. Both of the arms, again, very flexible, so it can accommodate quite a different sizes of head. This is generally a medium to large fitment with an oversized lens that's perfect for cycling, so you have a wide field of view. The lens here is a Cat 3, so it's 17% VLT, So great for really sunny areas like California, where I am, and blocks out the sun and provides nice coverage. It has a brown base lens, which is great for road cycling as well. So you can kind of see that here. It brings up the imperfections in concrete or road. In terms of the lens swap, we have a separate video for that, but it is quite simple. So you have an interchangeable lens design. You basically want to take off the nose pad. So compress in from the corners, push down, and that'll release it. So you just have to kind of push and compress at the same time. Then you can pop this whole nose pad off. So it has this little hook, which is kind of cool. So it comes off completely, and then you can always put it back on. And that's what keeps it to the frame. And then you can just pull up, take it out of the little groove, and then compress inward. So push down on each side, and you can see it'll just slide out. So that's the lens. And the frame itself, you can see it is very flexible. Definitely stand up to a lot of abuse and quite bright in this color scheme. Putting the sunglasses back in, very simple. Put one side in, sort of bend it until you get both hooks in. Then you want to slide it under the groove of the top brow, and you'll hear it. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of fingerprints on it in this process. The hardest part is getting the nose pad on instead of just having it slide on. You have to actually line this up, the little bridge piece, at the more narrow section, so it'll fit in the groove. And then push down on it, you hear the click. Once that's flush, then you simply need to compress and then push it forward so it goes back under those grooves, and then you're ready to ride. Now let's take a look at the Sutros on the road. Here we have it paired with the Gore C5 cycling kit in the fluorescent green, and that really matches the tennis green on the frame, as well as the Smith Trace helmet, which has a nice matching blue on the co-road sections with the blue on the temples. So you can definitely mix and match and find a good color scheme, but it is very bright and in your face. I do like the sweep design of the lens, so it gives it a more aggressive look and a very cycling specific design to it. As with all of Oakley's, the optics are great, crisp, clear, and great build quality as well, so very comfortable to wear. Our biggest complaint with these sunglasses is the vented version. You can see you have 10 circular vents, and they're quite large, and they're actually distracting, especially if you're cycling on the drops when you tend to be looking upward. They're in your vision, and it can be, again, just distracting while you're riding. So I'd recommend going with the non-vented version. For other sports, the vents aren't as much of an issue though, so if you're doing running or just around town, you don't notice them as much. Now, retro sunglasses are very common these days. Seems like everyone's gone retro. On the left, we have the Bolle Chronoshield. You can see it's designed after the goggles back from the 90s from Bolle. So you can see a very retro-inspired big lens, and it really does look like a ski goggle, so it's a bit taller, full frame design with little vents on the edges. It looks really cool. Even in the all black color with this polarized lens, it looks really nice. You have this sweat brow on top that's also removable, but much larger and definitely looks goofy off the bike. Wouldn't want to go in the store wearing this, while the Oakley is still a little bit restrained, so you can use this for different sports. I've also recently reviewed the Smith Bobcat, and you can see this is a slightly smaller version of the Wildcat, and it has a full frame design, but a almost fake semi-frameless design with it. The lens actually covers up the frame, and similar to POC lenses, so it kind of overlaps and gives you that cool semi-frameless look with the mirrored lens that hides everything. So with this one, you can see it's more similar to the original Sutro. So it has a squared off lens with smooth corners, while the sweep adds a little more aggressiveness and retro styling with these new kind of angled lines on the bottom. Again, the colors on this are very bright, but you can get more subdued versions. The swept back design also reminds me of the ROKA Matador sunglasses. These are the semi-frameless variation. And what's cool about these, they really sweep up, so very unusual temple design. So you can put these side by side, you can see similar curve to it. The Oakleys are obviously a little more exaggerated with this big bump here, while the Matador Air has a smoother curve to it. And you can see vented, but only a small vent on the top versus these big circular vents. The other Oakley sunglasses that's quite popular are the Katos. So it's a frameless design, it's just a one big lens. And you can see it has that very innovative wraparound nose piece. So one piece, instead of having a big cutout, just kind of loops over. It's a bit of a polarizing design. I think the Sutro is a lot more mild and can less polarizing for different cyclists. But you can see both unique, both have the Prizm Lens. And I think with the Sutro, you get a little more subdued styling, obviously compared to the Kato, but you get that same Prizm Lens technology, so great clarity. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the sunglasses. What we like about them is that you have a retro silhouette, especially with the Sweep version. They're more aggressive and in your face than the standard Sutros. You also have an oversized lens, which offers a wide field of view, which is perfect for high intensity sports. It also has very comfortable and flexible temple arms, so this should fit a variety of different faces and has no pressure points. Some of the negatives for the sunglasses is the fact that it doesn't have polarizing color scheme, especially with the Lite Sweep Vented or the Lite Sweep. They're a little more retro, so they might not fit everybody's style. And the circular vents, especially with the vented version of the lens, is quite distracting while riding, so I don't recommend them for cycling. I'd recommend just going with the standard Sweep, which is same price but without the vents. Taking everything into account, we'd give the sunglasses an 8.9 out of 10. It's a nice retro-inspired variation of the popular Sutros. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at The Sweet Cyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.